everybody, we are back, and the title of this video is How Suggestion Killed a Man. We are indirectly related to this. It might not be as extreme, but we are doing this in some sorts throughout our life. Okay, we might even be doing it now. So I want you to listen to the story, and the story is called How Suggestion Killed a Man. How the power of suggestion killed a person. Okay, so this isn't a gruesome, example or anything. So don't get kind of like scared and be like, I might not want to hear it. But it's not gruesome at all. It's just a little bit power in the title here. But let's hit rock and roll and dive into this. How suggestion killed a man. Here is an illustration of a heterosuggestion. A relative of mine went to a crystal gazer in India who told him that he had a bad heart and predicted that he would die in the next moon. Okay, so here's somebody, it's almost like, a person who's really into astrology, who's really into their horoscopes, their daily horoscopes. We all have friends like that, and I'm not putting that down if that's what you're into, but no, I think it plays a small part to the energy. I like the energy of it, and how we're connected, how everything's connected. But to really dive into, daily horoscopes, if your day is going to be good or bad or not do something, that's where things get kind of sketchy for me. And this is what this man kind of basically went to, is somebody on that lines that kind of predicted your future or was really good at it. But listen how this went. So this crystal gazer in India told him that he had a bad heart and predicted that he would die in the next new moon. Now this is what the guy did. He began to tell all his members of his family about this prediction, and he arranged his will. So what does this mean? So he went around and talked about it. He went around like worried and scared and fear that this is what's going to happen. And he even took it as far as arranging his will to die. Arranging his will where all his assets are given to his family, what family member gets this and gets that. He was arranging this. This powerful suggestion entered into his subconscious mind because he accepted it completely. Listen to this. This is how our subconscious mind works. And remember, our subconscious mind is not biased. And this is an excellent example explaining how the subconscious mind is not biased. Your subconscious mind is going to give you exactly what you give it. If your subconscious mind accepts it as true, it's going to come to you, no matter if it's good, no matter if it's bad. This powerful suggestion entered into his subconscious mind because he accepted it completely. How do we know he accepted it? Because he went to all his family members, worried about it, told them about it, and then he started planning his death. He started planning his will. He started to basically do the division of his assets. He carried it that far. Then it goes on and says, my relative also told me that this crystal gazer was believed to have some strange occult powers, and he could do harm or good to a person. He died as predicted, not knowing that he was the cause of his own death. I suppose many of us have heard similar, stupid, ridiculous, superstitious stories. Listen to this. At the end, this crystal gazer told him he had a bad heart, told him that he would die in the next moon. He believed it totally. He went around and talked about it to all his family members, and he even planned his will, division of assets. And it did come to pass. It did happen. Is that he died as predicted, not knowing that he was the cause of his own death. Listen to this. He was the cause of his own death. It's not the crystal gazer that predicted it. He's the cause of his own death. Why is that? Let us look at what happened in the light of our knowledge of the way the subconscious mind works. Okay, now Joseph Murphy kind of breaks it down here in the next couple paragraphs. I'll repeat it one more time. I hate to repeat it, but this is so powerful. And lots of times we need to hear things over and over and over and over. That's why I tend to kind of get in the habit of repeating stuff. Because it helps me as well. I want to hear it over and over and over again as well. No matter how long I do this stuff. I've been doing this stuff for like 20 years. Let us look at what happened in the light of our knowledge of the way the subconscious mind works. Whatever the conscious, reasoning mind of man believes, listen to this. He's not talking about the subconscious mind at this point. He's talking about your conscious mind. Your conscious mind, your thinking mind, your rational mind, your analytical mind. Your conscious mind is what your 3D world, what you see in your 3D world. It goes by your 5 senses. See, hear, smell, taste, touch. Then he says, whatever the conscious mind, reasoning mind of man believes, the subconscious mind will accept and act upon. Holy crap. Isn't this true? I'm changing the color here. Let me read it one more time because I added a lot of stuff to this. I added a lot of commentary. Whatever the conscious mind, reasoning mind of man believes, the subconscious mind will accept and act upon. It doesn't play favorites. Okay, this is what you have to understand with your subconscious mind. It doesn't play favorites. It doesn't like one person more than it likes you. Okay, it's just giving you what you're giving it. And what you're giving your subconscious mind is coming from your conscious reasoning mind. And listen to this. My relative was happy, healthy, vigorous, and robust when he went to see the fortune teller. Now he's going back to the story. Okay, now he's really giving the true end of the story here. He's saying, my relative was happy, healthy, vigorous, and robust when he went to see the fortune teller. She gave him a very negative suggestion, which he accepted. He became terrified and constantly dwelt upon the fact that he was going to die in the next new moon. He proceeded to tell everyone about it, and he prepared for the end. Listen, he prepared for the end because he was designing his will, doing his division of assets. The activity took place in his own mind, and his own thought was the cause. He brought about his own so-called death, or rather destruction of the physical body, by his fear and expectation of the end. But this is why I just basically explained a few minutes ago, just in a different way. But Joseph Murphy, explained it even better because he's writing it in a paragraph here. The woman who predicted his death had no more power than the stones and sticks in the field. Listen to this. The woman, the fortune teller, he's talking about the fortune teller here. The woman who predicted his death had no more power than the stones and sticks in her field. Her suggestion had no power to create or bring about the end she suggested. Listen to this. Her suggestion had no power to create or bring about the end she suggested. If he had known the laws of his mind, he would have completely rejected the negative suggestion and refused to give her words any attention. Knowing in his heart that he was governed and controlled by his own thought and feeling, like 10 arrows aimed at a battleship, her prophecy could have been completely neutralized and dissipated without hurting him. And isn't that so powerful? Okay, we let, and indirectly, okay, it might not be this bad in our life, okay, but we let the words of other people affect us. We let the words of other people have power over us. The only reason they have power over us because we're letting it happen. This is what Joseph Murphy is saying. We can reject anything. Okay, if we don't like it, we can reject it. Just like Neville Goddard said, this is why Neville Goddard came up with pruning shears of revision, the revision technique. If you don't like something, revise it in your mind the way you want it to go, and that's what you focus on. You can reject anything. The fortune teller had no power over him. But he let her words of prophecy take root in him. He believed it to his core, and that's what basically did the destruction in his body. You have to remember, the last paragraph here, the suggestions of others in themselves have absolutely no power whatever over you, except the power that you give them through your own thoughts. Okay, I just said this. I was kind of looking over here. It probably looks weird, but my eyes like focused off on something because I'm thinking myself. Because I fall in this trap too, and I think all of us fall in this trap. No matter what it is, no matter if it's boss at work, no matter if someone talking to us because they feel they have power over us, they can say what they want, and we can't defend ourselves just because of the position that we're in. Maybe it's at work or career. We can't really talk back because we're afraid we'll lose our job. Or maybe it's a sibling, a parent, a relative, aunt, or uncle. In their own way, they don't mean bad. That's what I'm trying to say. In their own way of saying something to you, they don't really mean bad. But they're just kind of reciting what maybe their parents told them. It could be something as simple as, "Oh, nobody in our family made $100,000 a year, and you think you're going to make $100,000 a year or over? Nobody in our family is a millionaire, so you think you're going to become a multi-millionaire?" And you let these words sink down into you, and you believe them, and not knowing that what they're saying has no power over you at all. What they're saying has no power over you except the power you give it. This is what Joseph Murphy is saying. We've all dealt with this. It might be something you're dealing with right now, going through right now. Someone says something to you. What they're saying has no power over you. God is inside you. The Spirit of God is inside you. Heaven is within you. They have no power or control over you. What they say, the prophecy people are saying, has no power and control over you, except the power and control you give it by belief what they're saying. So let's go on kind of with this paragraph, because this is the last paragraph here, only a couple sentences. The suggestions of others and themselves have absolutely no power whatever over you, except the power that you give them through your own thoughts. You have to give your mental consent. Listen to this. You have to give your mental consent. You have to entertain the thought. Then it becomes your thought, and you do the thinking. Remember, you have the capacity to choose. So if you have the capacity to choose, you have the capacity to choose your thoughts. Joseph Murphy says, choose life, choose love, choose health. See, this is how all of our thoughts should be. Choose life. What does life mean? Life is is forever moving forward, progression. Everything's getting better. Choose love, choose health. Choose prosperity. Choose abundance. And as we wrap this up here, how many of us, I fall in this trap too. And it's easy to fall in this trap. It's easy to let somebody say something. And Joseph Murphy says it perfectly. He says, you have to give your mental consent. If I don't give my mental consent, what you say to me, you have no power over me. Because I don't believe it. I cast it out. Or I revise it like Neville Goddard says. You have to give your mental consent. Then once you give your mental consent, you have to entertain the thought. How many things do we entertain in our mind? Like once we entertain it in our mind, this is like the Neville Goddard technique all over again. Once we entertain something in our mind, once we think about it, once we dwell in it, we go into our imagination and we start seeing it happening. This is how you're going down a dangerous road here. We've all done this, okay? We've all done this. I've done it. Once you've entertained the thought, then it becomes your thought. And you do the thinking. Once it becomes your thought and you dwell in that thought, you believe it, you entertain it. When you entertain something, you're going inside your imagination, you're naturally creating an imaginable scene around it. And it becomes a fact. That's the power of the subconscious mind. That's manifesting 101. Your subconscious mind doesn't play favorites. It's only give you what you give it. It's only give you what you accept through your conscious mind. But when we walk away from here, and if you're falling in this trap, or you go throughout the week or your work week, is remember, whatever people say to you, they have no power over you. You can cast it out. You have the power. The Spirit of God is inside you. Heaven is within you. Nobody has power over you. No thought has power over you. No prophecy from somebody else, how your life is going to be, has power over you. Accept the power you give it. So if you don't like what somebody says, don't entertain it, cast it out. Revise it. If you start thinking about it, revise it. You start thinking about it, have affirmations or robotic affirmations. You can come up with cheesy ones. Sometimes I come up with cheesy ones. Sometimes I walk around and say, I love my life. I love where I'm at. Thank you, Lord. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Lord, I'm in Thailand. Thank you, Lord, I have a fantastic view. Sometimes I just sit out on the balcony, I'm just quiet, and I'm just looking at the pool. Kind of in a moment of serene for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like in a daze, but I'm just kind of in that moment of gratitude, in that moment of awe, and I'm just letting myself go there. You don't have to write a great big fancy affirmation. You just say this stuff over and over and over to you. You say it so much to yourself until you flip and believe it. There's no secrets here. You say it so much until you believe it. Because eventually you're going to believe it. Even when you go to sleep at night, stop making this stuff so difficult. Sometimes I go to sleep at night, I'm just 5 minutes before I start getting sleepy. I know like I'm only going to stay awake probably 5 more minutes. I start saying like maybe like a robotic affirmation. Sometimes I go through gratitude. Sometimes I go through, thank you, Lord. Thank you for all my family. Thank you I'm here in Thailand. Thank you I'm living the life of my dreams. Thank you. I'm just like visioning that. And sometimes as I'm doing that, I'm going inside my imagination, creating a scene, and I fall asleep in that state. But anyway, guys, I mean, I can go ramble on and on and on about this. We can talk about this stuff for, forever. I don't want this video to go on and on and on. But anyway, make sure you comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, I love you guys. And remember, don't let people's thoughts, especially if they're talking to you, they're making comments towards you, they have no power over you. You're only giving it power. When you start getting pissed off, you're giving it power. You start getting pissed off at what someone said, you're giving it power. You're letting them have power over you, but you're letting it happen. Remember, nobody has power over you except the power you give it. But other than that, my friends, I just want to cut it right there. Hopefully this helps. Comment below. Remember, I love you guys. Blessings to you, and I'll see you in the next video.